Okay, so I have a story and then a question, like a poll, if you will. Let's say, or how many people have ever heard of someone being abused and family not doing anything about it? Or worse, family actually doing the opposite of the right thing. So here's the story, right? I have this friend. She's been on a really rough time. Like, had to leave an abusive relationship, and it's just her and her one son, right? And this son has to see a lot of bad things happen to her, and he can testify to it. But besides that, just recently, and this is what got me so upset, and I just need more opinion, please. I'm not, crucifying either side. I'm just asking what you guys think, if this is fair or what justice is supposed to be. Okay, so here's the rest of the story. So she tells me that she's, sorry, I'm so upset. Like, she tells me that she had to stay with her brother, and it's in her mom's apartment, right? Because like her mom moved in with her grandfather, and so she gave the apartment to her brother instead of her and her kid, who they're pretty much were roommates and homeless. Her brother was living with his dad, but she actually could have used the apartment, but because her mom thinks she's too dirty or whatever her excuse was, she was like, no, I'm gonna give it to your brother. And so she still has the roommate situation. So instead of being in the roommate situation, she was in the roommate situation, and then like shit hit the fan there because that guy got all mad about dogs and stuff, and like dishes, like stupid stuff like that, even though they were paying all the bills, right? So, anyway, sorry, I had a phone call, stupid devil. Devil doesn't want me to tell this story, by the way. So, anyway, what was I saying? Where was I? Not today, Stephen. Enough. Okay, angels, please. No distractions. We should be fine. Okay, so, as I was saying, where was I? So, she was in a roommate situation. The roommate kind of got crunk, right? Like he was just being like unfair, right? And so then what happened is that she ended up having to leave that roommate situation because her kid wasn't comfortable, and of course it's a good mom, she's not going to be there if her kids aren't comfortable. Well, her mom all of a sudden is like, oh, why don't you go stay with your brother in that apartment that I don't stay in anymore? So she goes and stays in that apartment with her son, right? And so like she's down on her luck, that can't find a job, but she's been pressing into the Lord. I'm in awe of how much she pressed into the Lord, because I do my own spiritual journey, and it's tough, right? Like, hadn't been that long, not even a whole year, or maybe it's been about a year right around right now. I don't know, I gotta ask. Anyway, so moving on, recently, what happened was, she's, trying to push through the day like normal. She says that she was like worshiping or whatever, and then went to go and fix her something to eat. Her kid was playing on the computer or whatever. You know how the kids are. They're online playing games all the time. So he's on the phone with his friends, like Discord or whatever. So like his friends can hear the whole thing, right? They can testify to it. Just remember that. So what happened is something about like things got escalated. She's like, hey, come and eat, brother. You're kind of drunk. You should come and eat, right? And like apparently like he wasn't happy with that. He wanted some food from earlier that day. She's like, okay, well then eat that. Like, no biggie. And he was very rude to her. So she's like, I went out to the porch to go and take, a break. So I took like a smoke break, whatever. I don't even think she was smoking, but like she was just out on the porch talking to God, right? Because that's what she does. And as she's talking to God, whatever, she's feeling a little better, she said, and then her brother comes out and he's like, instead of saying sorry, he's like, why do you always gotta be like that? Like, why are you always making problems? Quit talking, said this and this and that. And she's like, look, I know you were arguing with your girlfriend or whatever, or whoever she is to you, the girl you cheated on your baby mama with. I know you were arguing with her, and y'all were getting into it because y'all saw you kind of like tearing up in your eye, and so she kind of calls him out on it and was like, don't take that shit out on me because your girlfriend's a whore, right? He flips out because she calls his girlfriend a whore. But he cheated on his baby mama with her, and she did cheat on him 3 times that we know of, right? So, and that's like, everybody it's kind of common knowledge, right? So it's like, anyway, shit gets escalated. He's just sticking up for his girlfriend, who's not there, he hasn't seen in forever, and he was fighting with earlier, instead of, like, you know, just understanding what his sister's saying. So she's just calling his fucking girlfriend a whore. You know, like, she is one. Whatever, right? Well, you know, obviously, whenever people are mad, things are not quiet. They're kind of loud, right? I don't know any human being that's not loud whenever they're upset. Do you? Answer that one in the comments. Anyway, so shit gets heated, whatever. And this is where I get upset. He puts his hands on her. Not only does he put his hands on her, but he gave her a black eye. And he got bruises on her arms and a cut on her hand, right? And a scratch on her leg. And, you know, it was a whole thing. Even threw her on the bed and choked her. Tried to steal her phone so she couldn't call for help. Wanted to kick her out of the apartment after he stole her phone. So she's like, I ran for his iPad. So she went and grabbed his iPad and they tussled on the bed. And then, like, he put her down and choked her. And she's like, I'm your sister. What are you doing? So he jumps off of her. And at this point, and honestly, I don't know, she got all blurry. I know at some point also, like, her kid came into the room to try to get the phone. And I think he ended up getting the phone or something like that. She's like, it was all blurry. She was telling me all hysterically, right? So, you know how that is, trauma. That shit sucks. I've been there. Everything's blurry. But her brother was really drunk because he drinks all day long, even at work. That's proven. So, anyway, so shit gets heated. Well, finally, she calls on the angels, honestly. Starts talking in tongues. She's like, I started praying in tongues. I started calling on the angels. And then, like, you know, finally he calmed down and went to the room. And he's like, you got to be out of here tomorrow, whatever. And she's like, I'm not taking you to work. I'm not going to help you if I'm not going to be here. Like, this and that. I can't believe you did this to me. But she knows better, so she shuts the fuck up. Sorry, excuse my language. I don't mean to cuss. Sorry. It's a bad habit. We all have them. Nobody's perfect. So, moving on. It's just, this is where it gets really crazy. And I don't know if I have enough time because I'm on TikTok and I'm only doing a 10-minute thing. So I might have a part 2 to this. That might actually be nice. So y'all tell me, should she have called the cops that night? I told her she should have called the cops. And that way, you know, nigga could have been arrested right then and there, right? And I was like, girl, next time, that's what you do, right? Screw the, well, that's my brother, she says. That's my brother, though. Like, I can't call the cops. You know how pissed off my family's gonna be? Why would her family be pissed off about that? I mean, that's actually thinking about it. My family's like that, so I guess I get it. So, you know, a couple days goes by, he doesn't apologize. Her mom comes over the next day because it's her apartment, right? And she got a letter or something. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of shit. Instead of, like, going in there and being like to her brother, what the fuck did you just do, this and this and that? She's questioning her about her side of the story. Right in front of her son, mind you. Doesn't care to hear her son's side of the story, though. Just wants her to explain what they did and how her and her brother are fighting like they're like 5 and 6 or something. Yeah. Tell me, make sense of that, please. Like, make sense of that. She doesn't get mad at the brother. She goes and closes the door, right? Nobody can hear what they're saying. Nobody hears his side. And obviously, she was sitting in the living room because she was like, you know, I was sitting here in the living room. So she was sitting in the living room telling her mom about this right in front of her son. And, you know, it just bewildered me that he didn't come out. She didn't make him come and explain himself in front of everybody. She went back there, closed the door, and he got to explain himself. But he got to hear his sister's side first, you know, because she's loud. And that's the mom's problem all the time. Her mom can't stand how loud she is. I mean, I'm a loud person. But her mom can't stand that. And because she's loud, how dare her, she needs to be quiet and just take that kind of abuse. She needs to go and just make up, and they just need to quit fighting. I was like, did your mom not hear your side? She said, my mom never listens to me. She tells me I never listen, but she never listens. So yeah, I'm going to have to like make a part 2 of this because that's not even the end of the story, right? That's not even the end of the story. Y'all let me know what you think about that so far. Is that fair? I mean, does anybody else know people that act that way with their family? Let alone a mother, brother, and sister in front of her kid, 13-year-old kid? Let me know what you think in the comments.